Today's adventure starts in Lakewood, Colorado, at the corner of Ohio and Wadsworth. Yeah, let's go check out a park. Hi everybody, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome in. My name's Chris, and, well, this week I'm challenging myself to go out and film something every day for the first week of January. Today, I'm exploring a little park in Lakewood. Okay, it might not be so little. We'll find out. Oh, and be careful. There are coyotes in the area. Yeah, I wanted to come down here because I heard there's some sort of a museum. Kind of caught my attention. And I did stop at 7-Eleven on the way here. It was interesting. They had a notice on the door that they lost their liquor license. At least that one did. Not all 7-Elevens. But this 7-Eleven also did happen to have some pumpkin spice to put into my coffee. Yeah, I know what you all were thinking when I said museum. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit different. Let's start here at the caretaker's cottage. This is apparently the oldest building on the museum property, and it's still in its original location. And apparently there is a QR code if you want to learn more. But here is the house itself. Kind of feels weird just walking into somebody's backyard, doesn't it? But yeah, this is the caretaker's cottage. I was reading online, apparently they do have tours for $5 a person. I'm not doing that today, I'm just going to walk around. This house was built, I believe it said in 1910, or somewhere thereabouts. Yeah, 1910 with additions in the 30s and 50s. I'm assuming the 50s would be the garage. But there's one last look before we move along. Because down this way are quite a few other properties. Like this old barn. Yeah, this barn was built in the 1910s or 20s and moved here in 73. It was converted into the first museum visitor center in 1976. Well, let's set up for arts and crafts inside. I guess it is still used for some things. Yeah, let's just walk around the other side here. Oh, wow. Staircase. Pretty sure we can't go into any of these, so I'm not, well, plus there's a fence right here telling me we can't, so yeah. But as we keep on exploring, there's a lot more back here. I guess we could go tractor tipping. Yeah, there's a couple of old barns back here. Okay, so tractor tipping is still allowed then? I mean, it's not expressly forbidden. Oh, wow. I found a whole bunch of old equipment. Yeah, this here's a mower from, apparently from 1906 to 1912. Ooh, a John Deere corn binder from 1890 to 1920. A John Deere corn cultivator from 1908 to 1943. I'm assuming these years are the years they were in use. However, this Emerson cultivator has no date, so I guess make one up for yourselves. And this sulky plow just says 1888 to whenever, so I guess it's still being used. And a Gale cultivator, again with no date on there. I think the sign broke, but yeah, I'm not going to touch it. But this is a corn planter from John Deere 1908 to 1943. And a dump break with no date. Hey, press. From, 1880. And it's quite large. Can't even fit it all in one frame. Just a closer look at the side of it. It is quite large. And a quick look inside. I bet if anybody's walking around there wondering now, hey, what's this idiot doing talking to himself with a camera? Well, this one's a ditcher. I'm assuming it digs ditches and doesn't just leave without paying. Okay, now look at the size of this one. Whew. Again, it's hard to fit it all in frame, but yeah, this is a disc plow from John Deere. Just says 1900. And this is a one-row cultivator from 1930 till, I guess it's still in use. And this is performance foam insulation. I'm assuming they're building something. Yeah, it's not farm equipment. Well, there goes a bunny. And this one is a tandem disc. Well, the sign fell down on this one. I believe it says it's a combine, self-propelled, 1953 to 1954. Wow. They built this whole thing just for 1 year. All right. And it is fairly large. Wow. Yeah. I'm glad they have these things out here. Right next to it is apparently a header, which is fairly long. Whew. Hey, loader. Right here. And this plow here has 3 bottoms. And this is a John Deere combine from 1936. Well, I found a manure spreader if anybody can find me Biff Tannen's car. And a header from 1844. And we got the tractor over here, and wait, what is that? Oh. Well, I wish that was running. That would be awesome. Little miniature train. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't run on a track, so yeah, maybe they are running those at some point during the year, but definitely not today. And definitely not for a while. They've been collecting dust. Yeah, but there are a few in there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it'd be awesome if they would fix those up and start running them. Well, let's move away from those barns and farm equipment to the actual farmhouse. Yeah, I kind of wish we could go in and take a look. Kind of always wanted to go into a storm cellar. Let's walk around to the front real quick and take a quick look. Yeah, it would be nice to do the tour one day and actually go inside of these. And all of these houses do have their own plaque and, again, a QR code. And quite a bit of the history here. And there's a picture of the former owner of this house from back in 1920. And another quick look at the house from the front. But right across from there is something completely different. Well, I'm guessing there's a player piano somewhere inside that we can't see, but yeah, I kind of really do wish we could go inside these. It is the 1930s farmhouse. And again, there's your QR code. So, during the Great Depression, they turned a 1880s carriage house into an actual home. And apparently this house has moved quite a few times. There's an old chicken coop sitting behind it. Oh, there's a picture. And, well, yeah, there's the coop. And up next is the country school and the QR code. Yeah, this was built in 1867. And it was originally a church, but then converted into a schoolhouse. Oh, well, now that's actually kind of interesting. During the restoration, it was discovered that the interior walls really were painted a pale green color in the 1920s, and there have been blackboards on all sides of both rooms. These findings influence how the building was restored, as you can see inside. I wonder just how much we can see inside. Let's find out. Well, there you can see the teacher's desk and those pale green walls, along with some of the blackboards, or green boards, I guess. Chalkboards. Let's just call them chalkboards. And they're all around. We'll look from the back here. And just a quick look at the benches. The school even had a nice little yard around the back. Unfortunately, this is the closest I can get to the back because it is padlocked. Maybe it's part of the tour. But the people at the school didn't have too far to get water, because right across the sidewalk, well, is the pump house and another QR code. It was built in 1918, purchased in 1991, and restored in 1997. And yeah, it really did teach you to conserve water back then. Especially when you had to hand pump every single drop. But there is a look at the pump house and the tower. Yeah, speaking of water, my coffee's almost done. Wonder if there's any diners around here or something. Yeah, I think all we need to do is do a little time traveling. Let's leave the 20s and 30s farms and head a little bit up the road here. Yeah, let's switch decades real quick. And let's start with the Peerless gas station, along with its sign and the obligatory QR code. This shop opened in 1926 and closed in 1963. Apparently it spent some time in a junkyard as well, but it was moved here in 2011. And you could definitely tell we are in a different time, considering how much gas cost. Yeah, much different time. I should probably bring my car over here and fill up before we leave. Also, you did have a choice between regular and ethyl. But, yeah, did contain lead for both of them. There's a quick look inside of the building. At least these we can see completely in. Oh, wow, and nice little thing on the very first car radios. Yes, just look at how easy it was to install. And there's a nice little advertisement for Coca-Cola. But now that we've fueled up, let's head across the street and see what else there is. Because right here, we have a little diner. This is called the White Way Grill, and of course, you've guessed it. Apparently this building was moved in 2003, and the name comes from the white lights from the theater right up the street. Apparently this is an aristocrat model diner, manufactured in 1948. The diner could be purchased in the 1940s for $3,000, and they just transport it and set it up. But let's go ahead and take a quick look inside the windows. Kind of wish I could get a cup of coffee in there. I definitely need a refill. Hey, they even have an old newspaper there. And a quick look inside of the kitchen for the diner. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they mass-produced these diners, and they could drop them off at various parts all around the country. Oh, apparently there is an old jukebox in there. Oh, there is that one right there, so I'm pretty sure that's what they were talking about. And I'm quite surprised that ice cream hasn't melted. Oh wait, it's probably plastic. Hey, only 20 cents for waffles. And my coffee would have only cost me a nickel. I think I got ripped off. And you can get a cheeseburger for 20 cents. But let's go ahead and move next door to Ethel's Beauty Salon. Originally, this was built as Snow White cleaners. I'm assuming it was one of the dwarfs. I'm guessing it was Happy. It then spent some time as an 88-cent store before becoming converted into a barbershop and beauty salon in the 1950s and 60s. Let's go ahead and take a quick look inside. Even the mail slot has plastic on it, but at least it opens. There's a quick look through there. And I hope you can see inside with all that glare. There's a lot of just vintage stuff in there. Including Frosty. Hey, I had one of those. I think I even had the yellow one. A quick look at Santa before we move on to the next place. Yeah, that's the sad part, is all the glare, but I'm doing the best I can. Let's go ahead and move next door. I believe they might have a place to spend the night. This is the Estes Motel, and, well, you know the drill. It was built in around 1948 to 1949. Rooms cost about $4 to $8 a night. And the Estes family operated it until 1959. It closed sometime between 1977 and 1982. And it was moved here in 2010. Well, let's go ahead and see what we can see over here. Well, there's the type of Christmas tree you don't see every day anymore. And a quick look at inside of the room. There's a quick side view of the room. I'm trying to film this as best I can with all this glare. Apparently, it was actually 2 rooms. Huh. There's actually a door connecting the 2. I'm not sure if that was original or put in for the tours, but there's another room here. Let's walk around to this side of it real quick. It does look like that door is part of it, so maybe it was 2 different bedrooms. I'm not sure. Someday I'll take the tour and find out. Take a look at that vintage vacuum cleaner. And it did at least come with some wall art. And then a quick look at the far end of the room. And by the way, my question would have been answered if I had simply looked at the doors. Because here you have door number 1 and door number 2. So they are separate rooms. They just happen to have a door between them. I think we are slowly coming to the end of these structures. This seems to be the last one. Or technically it's 2. The first one would be a trolley stop. And, well, you know the drill. Denver did have streetcars up until the 1950s. And this was one of the stations. There were about 15 of these all along the line. This one was built in 1920 around Orchard. Which brings us to the Conservation and Preservation Building. Yeah, this structure was built in 1989 to store all the artifacts that can't be exposed to the sun. Unfortunately, that means that even the windows are blacked out, so we can't really see inside. Now, they do have one for the fire station, along with a QR code. However, there is no fire station. But there is an actual indoor museum. I think I might go check that out. Along with the statue that's right outside of it. It's called 3 Generations, and, well, there's the information. It's nice and cozy inside. They have a tiny little museum store. And a nice little exhibit. Here we have an example of a water pipe and a ditch shovel. They actually did use wood pipes. We have some old milk bottles and, well, here's the caps. And here's quite a few more. I definitely urge you to come down and check all of this out. It would be way too difficult to show you all of it. But they do have quite a few little displays from quite a few different points in history, including quite a few license plates. Ooh, and a stereoscope. Here, let's check this out. It's very hard to show on this camera, but yeah, it does kind of look 3D when I look at it. And here we have an old candy vending machine right next to a vintage jukebox. Let's just take a quick look at some of these songs that are available. Ooh, they got Steve Miller Band. They got some Eagles. They even have some Alan Parsons Project. And some Rod Stewart. Hey, Willie Nelson. Yep, and even back then, you couldn't have a jukebox without Sweet Caroline. Suddenly, I'm a little bit thirsty. We have all sorts of other vintage equipment in here. Oh, wow. Even have a little interactive display here, projecting over a map of the city and some of the story out here. That's actually kind of fun. If the Twilight Zone theme plays, I'm out of here. Oh wow, they even have the story of how Lakewood got its name. Apparently it was originally just simply called Jefferson City. But yeah, there were some other very interesting names suggested. I'm sure these days they would be even more interesting than that. But could you imagine living in a town called Tiki Tiki Tiki? Or if your town was simply called Mother. Dogtown? Yeah, there's quite a few interesting ones here. Oh, wow. The former guitarist for Megadeth actually came from here in Lakewood. And all of that was right inside of the visitor center. Here's a quick look at their hours. They are closed Monday and Sunday. The rest of the time they do seem to be open. Well, I think I may have seen the entire museum. Pretty sure we saw all of those buildings. So I guess we're gonna start getting ready to wrap up this video. I want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, I'm trying to film at least one video every day for the first week of January. You know, most people pretty much only do their New Year's resolutions for a week anyway, so might as well make it part of mine. Tomorrow, the plan is for my daughter and I to go to Elitch Gardens one last time this season. So I do really hope you come back for that. And if you made it all the way through, I definitely want to thank you for watching. And if you didn't make it all the way through, how are you seeing this? So until next time, always remember to get out and explore the world around you. Because you never know what you might find. Good night, everyone.